All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. It's your brother Yazarok, WFI Philly, Jersey, coming back at you with another breakdown. Of course, we're giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalek Yahushai. All right. So in this breakdown, we're going to tackle the topic of can a man have multiple wives, right? Because recently I've been seeing this on the internet, on social media, and people are saying that you can't have multiple wives, right? So people are always bringing up Solomon, how he had 700 wives, 300 concubines and stuff like that, and people are trying to say that it's unlawful for a man to have multiple wives, right? So what we're going to do in this breakdown, we're going to try and tackle that topic through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So let's kick it off with Sirach, because people think this might be a small matter. People think it's an issue, right? It's been a very controversial topic that's been out there recently, right? So let's see what the Lord said. This is Sirach 5 and verse 15. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So it doesn't matter if this is a big matter or a small matter. Right now, what matters is people getting their spirits right, and getting ready for trying to get that salvation and make their calling to election sure, right? So people are worried about, can you have multiple wives? Brothers don't need to be worrying about that for real. Brothers need to be worrying about the Most High and getting their spirit right for his return, right? But we're going to tackle this topic because, brothers, you need to let me get this precept, right? Classic one. The book, right, of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." Right, so we're going to rightly divide the word of truth, right? That's why we're going to tackle this subject real quick, right? So let's jump into it. This is precepts that brothers are going to go to prove, and I've seen videos on it too. I've seen videos on brothers that go in here because, you know, brothers love to run out of their wits for women, man. Let me get this precept actually. All right, this is First Ezra, right? Chapter 4 and verse 26. It says, "Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes," right? Because brothers love to please women in this thing, man. They want to be appealing to the women. They want to bring out the scriptures that's good for them, right? That make them feel good. They want to make the women God, right? The Lord said that the women aren't gods. Let's get that in Baruch real quick, right? Because brothers love to praise these women, man. And that's where King started going off, right? We're going to get into that later. But that's where brothers start going off, man. You praise the women. That's what's wrong with this brother Polite, right? He wants to appeal to the women. He want to win them over. He win the women over. He feel like everything's good. That's why he's in this Egyptology thing, right? Feeling like the woman is God, right? It's folly, man. The Lord's not dealing with that, man. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Come on, this is the book of Baruch. Well, this is the epistle of Jeremiah. If you don't know what the epistle of Jeremiah is, it's the last chapter in the book of Baruch in the Apocrypha, right? So the letter of Jeremiah, this is Baruch chapter 6 and verse 29. It says, "Menstruous women and women in childbed eat their sacrifices. By these things ye may know that they are no gods, fear them not." Right? So women aren't called to be gods, man. So they're a helpmate to the man, right? The Lord said in 1 Corinthians that woman was made for the man, not man for the woman, right? And brothers, hey, that was a topic we was dealing with on Twitter as well, right? People think, and women on there defending that too. You just got wicked women that's in the truth trying to say, see, look at this this mindset that our people have now, right? Thinking it's off. That's how the Lord set it up from the beginning, right? He made man and then he made woman, and he made the woman for the man because he knew it wasn't right, not right, but he knew that it was right for a man to have a helpmate, right? And the Lord had the blueprint drawn up. It's not like he was just, you know what? Let me make a woman. He already knew what was going on, man. But the Lord said, hey, listen, the sheep of my flock are men, right? Let's go get that real quick. Slakia. Actually, I'm going to go to Proverbs first. Right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 4. It says, "Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is with the sons of man." So the Lord's calling the men in this thing, right? The men called, hey, and it's good for a man to have a woman or have a wife because that's their helpmate. But the Lord is dealing with the men. That's why in 1 Corinthians 11 and 3, it tells you the hierarchy of how everything goes. It goes to Yahweh Shai, the man, the woman, and the child, right? So men got to stop putting women over the man because that's not how the Lord set it up, right? Let's go to Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel 34 and verse 31, and it says, and ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord God. Right? So the flock of the Lord's pasture are men. The Lord's dealing with the men. The men are the ones that went out to war. The men are the one that provided for the women and the child in the household. Right? So the men are the ones that lead the household, man. A woman has to go to their man to get breakdowns and get the knowledge and be taught. Right? The woman's not sitting there teaching the man. The only time you might see that is when a woman's trying to bring a man, their husband, into the truth. That's the only time she might have to sit down and try and break this thing down to him. Other than that, the man not sitting down. What we going over today, wifey? That's not what's going on, man. The man teaches the woman. That's just how it's set up, and that's how the Lord set it up, and we're going to keep it that way, right? So let's jump into this topic that we was going to bring out, dealing with polygamy. So first and foremost, people got to understand the difference between polygamy and polygyny. The M and the N. There's a difference. Polygamy is a polygamous relationship where a man or a woman can have multiple partners, and that's going off. Because now you got women trying to have multiple partners. I knew a girl in the world. She went on Instagram talking about, well, if a man can have a polygamous relationship, what's wrong with the women doing it? And she posting pictures, having the man at home cleaning, cooking, doing the women duties at home, and then the woman go to work and then she come back and now she having sex with multiple men. That's off, right? The Lord's not dealing with that. Hold on, didn't the Lord say this in the Torah, in the law? Right? Let's get the law. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17. It says, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So when a daughter's a whore, that's mean what? She's sleeping with multiple men, right? That's a whore. So if you're sleeping with multiple men, you're going off. The woman can only be married to one man, but the roles in reverse, there's nothing unlawful about that. The Lord made the world so that he made more women than men, so that every woman can have a husband, right? That's how it's set up. That's why there's more women than men. It's just set up that way, right? It's not set up so women can have 5 different husbands. The Lord's not getting down with that. That's why he said there should be no whore of the daughters of Israel, right? So no woman can't have multiple husbands. That's the Lord's not dealing with that. That's off. That's wickedness, right? So brothers got to stop exalting the women in this thing, man. You gotta realize that the Lord is only dealing with the men, and the women. Hey, sin came because of the women in the first place, right? Didn't he say that in 1 Corinthians? Let's get this real quick. Right, this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 11. It says, nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither is the woman. Salaki, that's not what I wanted. Salaki, Israel. I might be thinking of something different. All right, Salaki. I'm thinking of it. It might be in Wisdom of Solomon. Now I'm thinking about it. I thought it wasn't here. But regardless, it says that because of woman, sin came into the world, right? It didn't start with the man. The woman kicked it off, right? Now I'm not gonna go too deep into that because that's not the topic of today, right? But my point is, men gotta stop exalting these women, right? Now let's really jump into this topic, right? Can a man have multiple wives? According to the Bible, according to the Lord, yes. A man can have multiple wives. Can a woman have multiple husbands? No. We already covered that, right? Now I'm going to show you that a man can have multiple wives, right? Let's start here, though. I'm going to go to the precepts that I was going to bring out before of that. I seen a video on YouTube, and it was a guy actually basically trying to say that the man can only have one woman, right? And I'm gonna show you what precepts he uses for that, right? I'm going the wrong way, right? This is the book of Titus, chapter 1 and verse 6. Now, mind you, this is Epistle Paul written to Titus, right? Who Titus was like his brother, right? And I'm gonna start up. I'm gonna start at 4. To Titus, my own son, after the common faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God the Father and from the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior. Verse 5. For this cause I left thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city as I appointed thee. So Paul left Titus in Crete so he could set everything order, right? Hey, I need the church out here. I need you to get. I'm gonna leave you out there. I need you to set it in order, right? That's why he's writing this letter, right? So let's see who he's writing to. Mind you, he said to ordain elders in every city, right? So let's keep reading. Verse 6. It says, if any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not of accused riot or ruly, right? So he's saying if any be blameless, right? So there's no infractions coming up against this man. There's no accusations or anything like that, right? And a husband of one wife, so this man only has one wife as well, right? Having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly, so his children are also in order. Basically, this man has his household in order, and he's only married to one woman, and he has a good reputation among the congregation, right? Verse 7. For a bishop, right? For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, nor striker, nor given to filthy lucre. Now it says from the top, for a bishop must be blameless. So when he's talking about setting this place in order, who he's talking about can only have one wife and be blameless with faithful children. He's talking about somebody that's set up as a bishop, right? And what's a bishop? A bishop is a man that's a overseer, right? Like a superintendent type of person when you look that word up, right? So the man that's set up to be the overseer, he can only have one wife. Just like the Levites. The Levites can only have one wife, right? Why? Because they have duties that they got to do. Your average Israelite that's just not in a ranking position, they can have multiple wives because they don't have anything that all they have to do is they have to take care of their household, right? Now a man that's in a bishop position or like a deacon position, he's got duties to do according to the Lord, right? So he has things that he has to set in order. He can't just have 5 wives at home and he's got to be doing all this and that, right? He's not going to have time to do that. Why? Because he has to still have his household in order, and he has duties he has to do according to the Lord, right? Which is watching the sheep as the overseer, right? Let's read on. But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, and temperate, right? So a man that wants to be a bishop, they have to have all these characteristics, right? All these things have to pertain to him. And mind you, a bishop can only have one wife, right? So brothers want to run to that scripture and try to use that, but you have to get the context and understand what it's talking about. It's talking about a bishop, a man in a high-ranking position, right? Let's go to the next precept, right? Let's go to the book, right? Let's go to 2 Timothy 3, and let's start from the top. It says, this is a true saying, right? Now, this is the epistle to Paul to Timothy. Timothy's basically doing the same thing. I'm going to start from the jump, right? It says, this is 1 Timothy 1 and 2. It says, unto Timothy, my own son, in the faith, grace and mercy and peace from God our Father and Yahushua Mashiach, as I besought thee to abide still at Ephesus when I went to Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some that they teach no other doctrine, right? So this is a epistle to Timothy. Why is it Ephesus? To set basically this church in order, the same thing he did to Titus, right? To set things in order that no man teaches no other doctrine, right? And to set the church in order, right? Now we're back in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and from the top. It says, this is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, again, there's that word again, bishop. If the man desire an office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. Verse 2, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, striker, not grieved for filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. right? So there it is again. That's the same thing that Paul wrote to Titus. He's writing it to Timothy to set the place in order. If you want to be a bishop, you have to be blameless and have one wife and have your household in order, right? So this is what this brothers will run to these scriptures and be like, look, a man can only have one wife. Understand the context. If you're seeking to be a bishop or you're seeking to be in a leadership position, the Lord said, hey, listen, this man can only have one wife because he's going to have duties that he has to fulfill, right? If he wants to be an officer, if he wants to be a bishop, a deacon, he's going to have to be in certain positions. He has duties they have to fulfill, right, according to the Lord, and you cannot be slack in those positions, right? So you don't have time to sit here and deal with your household, not deal with your household, but you don't have time to have 10 wives at home, and then you still have to accomplish all these duties, right? So let's jump into it. Now, brothers will say that actually I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna just start in the law, all right? Let's actually go to Exodus 21. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 10. Slaki, I'm in Leviticus. Exodus 21 and 10. It says, I'll start at 9. And if he hath betrothed her unto a son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. Verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food and raiment of her duty of marriage shall not diminish. So if a man takes another wife, he still has to fulfill the duties for the other wife. Basically, you have to, it's got to be balanced. You can't marry this one woman and then do all this for her, and then you get another wife. Now everything you were doing for the other wife decreases, right? There has to be balanced. It has to be just. You have to treat them the same, spend equal amount of time with them. It says that her food and raiment and her duty of marriage shall not diminish, right? So everything that you do for her has to be equal. Everything she does for you has to be equal, right? That's when you get into a polygamous relationship or a polygamous relationship. Hey, everything has to be balanced, or hey, the Lord will overthrow that household, right? And everything, all hell can break loose because you didn't deal with it correctly, right? You start showing another wife all this amount of time. You start showing this wife more love than you show this wife, right? You sleeping with her more than you sleeping with her, right? You taking her out on dates while she sits at home and she's got to watch the kid or clean the damn kitchen, right? No, it's got to be balanced, man. You got to be able to, you have to, first off, you have to count the cost before you get into something like that, right? You can't just jump into, oh, I want 3 wives, right? I might 3 and for 4, you know, hey, 3 and for 4. No, you got to be able to know that you can handle that in the situation and don't keep one under the radar. Like you married to this woman, but you court another woman, but she don't know about it. Then when she finds out, hey, head's gonna bump and hell might break loose, right? Because remember, we're still in this flesh. When you get into the kingdom, then that's a whole different relationship. We're gonna be automatically righteous. A woman won't be bucking up because you got another wife, right? But while we still in this relationship, remember, Eve is still coming out of the world where they're used to only having is one-on-one relationship, right? There's mano a mano. There's no, oh, I got my husband got 3 wives. They're not dealing with that in the world, right? That's off. But according to the Bible, that's lawful. But you have to remember Eve's mindset in this thing, man. Most of them not going for that, right? But the ones that are all praise to the Most High, right? Because they understand that's lawful. But understand that you have to count the cost and be wise in your household when you're dealing with a polygamous relationship, right? Let's go to the next precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy 21 as well. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21 and verse 15. It says, if a man have 2 wives, right? One beloved and another hated, and he hath borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn be of hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh the sons to inherit that which hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So that gets a little deeper, but the point that I wanted was the top. If a man have 2 wives, right? So why is it a law that's saying, hey, listen, if a man has 2 wives, it would be a law that a man can't have 2 wives from the beginning. That would be a thing from the beginning. It would be set in stone that a man cannot have multiple wives. The Lord wouldn't be addressing it. Listen, if a man got multiple wives, then you got to deal with it this way, in this order, right? It would be a thing from the jump saying, hey, listen, a man, you can only be married to one woman. That was never a thing, right? So now brothers and sisters like to say, well, look at Solomon. Solomon had multiple wives, and look what happened. He went off, right? He started he had too many wives, and the Lord wasn't dealing with it. So he basically not casted Solomon off, but rent the kingdom from him, right? That's not why Solomon wasn't off for having 700 wives and 300 concubines. We're gonna get into why Solomon was off, right? Let's go to it. The book of 1 Kings chapter 11, and we're gonna read it from the top. It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, right, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Now we understand that he's telling you right here, Solomon went off because he loved the strange women that the Lord told you that you cannot marry. Right? Let's go back to the Torah. This is Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them, the daughters of thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter, nor his daughter shalt thou take to thy son. Now let's jump up, because he's telling you right here that you can't marry these women. Now let's start from the top. When Yahweh thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hast cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahweh thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them, and thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them. Verse 3, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto the son, and their daughter shalt thou not take unto thy son. Right? So the Lord said, hey, listen, these nations, you can't make no marriages with them. Right? You cannot be joined to these people, right? And when you go back, Solomon married Ammonites and Hittites, which was one of those 7 nations that that the Lord said that you can't get down with, right? Let's jump into the book of Ezra real quick. Bear with me real quick. Right, this is the book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 12. It says, now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat of the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance unto your children. Right? So the Lord said, listen, you can't get down with these nations, right? Don't take them, don't marry them, right? Don't give your sons to them, don't give your daughters to them, right? Don't take them as your sons, don't take them into your daughters. Right? Because they're going to turn you away from following Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? Let's go back into 1 Kings. Damn, I dropped it. All praises. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 2. It says, of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. So Solomon loved these women. Right? Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Right? This is where Solomon went off. Solomon wasn't off because he had multiple wives. Solomon was off because he turned away from the Lord. Right? Because he married these women, they turned away his heart. We're going to keep reading. Right? Salakia. Verse 4. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, and was the heart as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after his Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech the abomination of the children of Ammon, and likewise did he for all estranged wives with burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods. That's where Solomon went off. Solomon was not off for having 1,000 wives, right? Solomon was off because he bowed his loins unto these other women, right? Let's get that in Sirach. He went and he burnt incense, he built their groves, right? He turned his heart unto these other women and stopped following the Lord. That's where he started going off. Because there's righteous men in the scriptures that followed the Most High God and had multiple wives, right? Were they off for having multiple wives? No, they were righteous because they did it in order according to the Lord, and they didn't bow their loins unto these women, right? This is Sirach chapter 47, and I'm going to start at verse 13 so you can get the context. It says, Solomon reigned in a peaceable time and was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name and prepare his sanctuary forever. So obviously, just to get the context, we're talking about Solomon, right? We're going to jump down to verse 19. It says, Thou didst bow thy loins unto woman, and by thy body thou was brought into subjection. Thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy seed, so that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children and was grieved for thy folly. So Solomon went off because he bowed his loins unto these women, and he gave his strength over to them. Let's get that in Proverbs 31, right? Because, hey, Solomon's mom told you not to do that, right? Don't give your strength to any women, right? And she's a woman, so obviously she knows, right? Solomon went off because he decided to follow these other women. That's why Solomon went off, right? Proverbs 31, and I'll start at 2. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Verse 3, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. So Solomon's mom, he told him, right? This is the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy of his mother had taught him, right? So this is his mother taught him this. Give not thy strength unto women, right? And that's what Solomon did. Solomon bowed his loins to these other women, and guess what? They turned him away from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? Because if Solomon had 700 wives, or 700 wives and 300 concubines, and he was following Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he would have been cool. He would have been good, right? But since he decided to burn incense, build their groves, move them into the Jerusalem and stuff like that, like you read in 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, then guess what? That's where he started going off, right? And that's the point, right? Let's get another precept, right? Let's show you something else. Let's show you somebody else, right? Let's go to where I want to go. Let's go to 2 Chronicles actually. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 11. And I'm gonna go to verse. I'm gonna start at 20. I'm gonna start at 19, right? And this right here, this is an Asa. This is Rehoboam, right? Rehoboam is Solomon's son, which reigned after him. After Solomon slept with his fathers, Rehoboam rose up. He took over the southern kingdom, and he started ruling. And this is when there was a division between Rehoboam and Jeroboam in the kingdom of heaven, or not the kingdom of heaven, Salakia, in Israel, right? So Rehoboam's the king of the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You can read that in verse 12, right? So this is 2 Chronicles 11 and verse 19, which bear him children. Salakia for the pronunciation. Jeush, Shamara, Zaham, and after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abijah and Attai, and Ziza, and Shalomith. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines, for he took 18 wives and 60 concubines, and begat 28 sons and 60 daughters. So this is King Rehoboam. When Rehoboam first got into power, when he first rose up, hey, he was righteous. The Lord was dealing with this man, right? He wasn't going off, right? And it says that he loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. It says he took 18 wives and had 60 concubines. So he had 18 wives and 60 concubines, right? Was he off? No, this is before he went off. Go to verse 12 from the chapter 12. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 12 from the top. And it came to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom. So after he established the kingdom, he built up everything, and Judah, and the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom, was officially established. It says he had strengthened himself. He forsook the law of the Lord, and all Israel with him. Right. So when he was set up, then that's when he went off. But when he had these concubines, when he had the 18 wives and 60 concubines, he wasn't going off. He was doing it righteously, right? How the Lord had ordained it, right? So no, this man was not going off, right? Let's get you another let's get another Salakia. Another account. Right? This is 2 Chronicles 13, and I'll start at verse 20. Right? Now this is Abijah, right? Abijah was righteous, right? The Lord was dealing with Abijah, right? Let's see if I can get that real quick. Because this is when 2 Chronicles 13, this is when Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom told Northern Kingdom basically to they were trying to fight. And he was like, hey, listen, no, we can't do this, right? You're really going to try and attack us, and when you know the Lord is with us, right? And then they tried to ambush him, right? So they tried to, I'll read that in 13, but Jeroboam caused an ambushment to come about behind them, so they went before Judah, and the ambushment was behind them. So Northern Kingdom tried to ambush Judah, and the Lord actually struck them down, right? That's in verse 15. Then the men of Judah gave a shout, and as the men of Judah shouted, it came to pass that God smote Jeroboam and all Israel before Abijah and Judah, right? So the Lord was with Abijah, right? He was dealing with. So this was a righteous man, right? Now let's get to the point. This is 2 Chronicles 13, and I'll start at verse 20. It says, neither did Jeroboam recover his strength again in the days of Abijah, and the Lord struck him, and he died. Verse 21, this is the point. But Abijah waxed mighty, and married 14 wives, and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. So the Lord was with Abijah, and guess what? Abijah had 14 wives, right? So was he wicked? Was he wicked because he had 14 wives? He had multiple wives? No, because he followed the Lord with all his heart, right? That's why the Lord was with Abijah and with the southern kingdom at the time, right? So the Lord never said, hey, listen, you can't have multiple wives, right? You got to have one wife. You can't go off and have 15 wives, right? Abijah, you're wicked because you had 14. No, the Lord said, hey, listen, you can have multiple wives, but when you come to dealing with them, their raiment and their food and everything and their marital duties, it cannot diminish. It has to stay the same, which you have to keep your household balanced and in order. That's all he's talking about, right? Let's get another account. Let's go to 2 Samuel, right? This is 2 Samuel. Now we know that the Lord was dealing with David on a different level. We know that. The mercies of David is not the same as everybody else because that was David, right? We know the hierarchy. Yahweh, Yahushai, King David, the 144, right? King David is going to be a king at the top king next to Yahweh, the right-hand man of Yahushai forever, right? So we understand that the Lord was dealing with David. So was David wicked because he had multiple wives? No. David was wicked because of what he did to Uriah or Uzziah, Salakia. He sent this man out to battle to get killed after he slept with his wife, right? Let's read this. This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 13. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David, right? So David had multiple wives. It said he took more wives and concubines, which means he already had wives, right? We know David had a couple wives already. Hey, listen, he said he took more wives and more concubines because it was lawful, right? There was nothing going off. As long as you can deal with that in order in the household and everybody's raiment and food and marital duty stay the same, then the Lord said, all right, you can handle it, then you can have that. But if a woman wants to have multiple men, that's wicked, that's off, that's not allowed in Israel. There should be no there should be no whores of the daughters of Israel, right? That's in the law, right? See if I can get another account, right? Let's go to Samuel, right? First Samuel, Salakia. This is the book of First Samuel, chapter 1, from the top. It says, now there was a certain man of Ramoth, Salakia. Ramoth is Zophim. Ramoth is Zophim. Salakia for the pronunciation. Of Mount Ephraim. And his name was Elkanah, and the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephrathite. Verse 2, and he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. So this man had 2 wives. Was he wicked? No, he wasn't wicked because he had 2 wives. Like we said, I've been saying it from the beginning. It's lawful for a man to have multiple wives, man. You can't take the scriptures, you can't twist and play with it and do what you want and make it fit for you. The Lord said that you can have multiple wives, and it's not wicked. You think we want to be in the kingdom of heaven forever and ever, and we just gonna have one wife forever and ever? No, you're gonna have multiple wives. You're gonna have wives, right? You might. Hey, listen. It said that you're gonna be like one man will be like a great nation, right? You're not gonna have a great nation just from having one person. Listen, then our nation was established with multiple wives. So how you gonna sit here and say we can't have multiple wives, but the progenitor Jacob, Israel, our nation was started with 4 wives. Our nation was started with Bilhah, Zilpah, Rachel, and Leah. So if the nation, the 12 tribes come from 4 women, and obviously he had to have sex with all those women, then how are you going to say we can't have multiple wives when the nation was started with multiple wives in the first place? Jacob married sisters, right? Was he wicked? Was he wicked? No, he wasn't wicked, man. The Lord's dealing with it as long as everything's in order, right? If you're going off, then that's a whole different story. But other than that, the Lord's with you. The Lord's dealing with it, man. You just have to be righteous in your doings, right? You can't be trying to sneak around the bush and do something else. And hey, I'm going to sleep with this woman, and then damn, I'm not going to marry her. So far, you know how it goes with Israel, man, right? So yes, you can have multiple wives. Women, no, you can't have multiple husbands, right? Straight like that, right? So with that, I'm gonna close out giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalaki Yahweh. Shalom Israel. Continue to endure, study, pray, fast, read, and do everything that the Lord has commanded us to do, and continue to endure. Shalom.